Man, what a statement win from the Baltimore Ravens. You could feel it from the opening kickoff. This team came out like they had something to prove, and honestly, they did. After a few tough losses and a lot of noise surrounding the locker room, the Ravens finally looked like the team fans had been waiting to see all season. And the wild part? They did it without Lamar Jackson. No number 8 running the show, yet it still felt like Baltimore football was back in full swing. You know when people say a win is a win, no matter who you're playing? That was exactly the vibe here. It didn't matter what the Bears' record was. It didn't matter how ugly the last few weeks had been. This was about rediscovering that energy, that confidence, that identity. Because the truth is, lately, some of those home losses had sucked the life out of the locker room. You walk in after a game like the one against the Texans, and it feels like a morgue, quiet, heads down, everyone just trying to process what went wrong. But Sunday? Completely different story. The music was bumping, guys were smiling, the energy was back. It felt like that spark the Ravens had been missing all season finally came roaring back to life. And yes, Lamar was sidelined, but you could see him there, being vocal, being that leader on the sideline, talking to guys, giving that encouragement. That's huge because it shows growth. It shows he's not just the playmaker anymore. He's the heartbeat of this team, even when he's not throwing passes or breaking ankles. Tyler Huntley stepped in and did his thing, looking confident, efficient, and calm under pressure. At one point, he only had one incompletion in the first half, and even that was a drop. The offense wasn't perfect, but it was solid, disciplined, and most importantly, it got the job done. That's what winning football looks like. Now the focus shifts quickly because Thursday night football is right around the corner, and the Ravens have the Miami Dolphins waiting. Miami's coming off a strong game against Atlanta, and both teams have momentum right now. That's what makes this matchup so interesting. Two teams with something to prove, both trying to build on a big win. And if you're a Ravens fan, you love this situation. Lamar's expected to be back. He's looking healthy, and he even said himself he's feeling good. He talked about that hamstring injury, how tough it was to deal with, and how hard he worked with the trainers to get back. He was joking a bit, but you could tell he's laser-focused. But let's be real. This week wasn't just about what happened on the field. Oh no, there was a whole lot of talk about what's being called ping-pong gate. Only in Baltimore could something like this become a headline, right? For those who missed it, reports came out saying the Ravens removed the ping-pong tables, video games, and even a basketball hoop from the locker room. At first, people thought it was the coaching staff who made that decision, maybe trying to send a message to the players. But then, it turns out, it wasn't the coaches at all. It was Lamar Jackson. Yeah, you heard that right. Marlon Humphrey went on his podcast and revealed that Lamar was actually the one who told the equipment staff to take all that stuff out. Lamar later confirmed it himself, saying he told the head equipment guy to remove everything. Ping pong, TVs, the works. He said he appreciated ownership for providing that fun environment, but right now, it was time to focus. He even joked that if he could have taken the TVs out of the locker room, he would have. And when asked what it would take to bring them back, his answer was simple. Keep winning. Just keep stacking wins, and maybe next offseason the games come back. Now, some fans saw that and thought it was too serious, like maybe he was taking the fun out of the locker room. But honestly, this move says everything about where Lamar is mentally right now. He's not a rookie anymore. He's not just the flashy player who makes highlight reels. He's the leader of this football team, and he's sending a message. He's saying, we're done playing around. We need to lock in. And that hits differently when it comes from him, not the coaching staff. If a coach takes away the games, it feels like punishment. But when your quarterback does it, that's leadership. That's accountability. It's Lamar stepping up and showing his teammates that it's time to take this season seriously. This isn't about fun or distractions. It's about winning football games. And when a player of his caliber sends that message, the entire locker room listens. It's crazy to think how much Lamar has grown since he entered the league. Back in his early years, he was quiet, led by example, didn't say much. Now, you hear him talk more. You see him motivating teammates, owning that leadership role. It's like something clicked. He understands that with experience comes responsibility. He's not just the young guy anymore. In football years, he's a veteran now. And when the veteran, the star of your team, decides to make a move like removing distractions, it changes the whole tone in that building. It also matters because guys like Marlon Humphrey, Ronnie Stanley, and others, veterans who've been around, understand what it takes to win. They've seen both sides, what happens when a team is focused and what happens when it loses discipline. So when Lamar sets the tone, it creates a ripple effect. Everyone follows suit. You could even see it in the way the players carried themselves after that last win. Focused, but confident. And let's not act like removing a few games suddenly turns everything around. But it's symbolic. It's a message. It says, we're not here to relax. We're here to fix what's broken. Sometimes, leadership is about those small moments, those little changes that make everyone refocus. Like, instead of wasting 5 minutes before a meeting playing cornhole or ping pong, guys are now watching film, reviewing notes, locking in mentally. That's the difference between good teams and great ones. The details. It's funny because this whole thing shows how perception changes based on who takes action. If a coach had done it, you'd hear people saying, they're overreacting, they're treating players like kids. But when Lamar does it, it feels different. It feels like a player saying, I'm not above this. I'm holding myself to the same standard. That's what real leadership looks like. And that's exactly what this team needs right now. Because let's be honest, the Ravens' season has been anything but predictable. A few close losses, a few tough moments, and then suddenly, this bounce-back win that reminds everyone what they're capable of. But you can't live in the past. Every week in the NFL is a new test. Lamar knows that. He even said during his press conference that he's not focused on going on a run. He's focused on Miami, one game at a time. That's the mentality championship teams have. You can't start counting wins before you play them. And he's right. Because in this league, the moment you take a team lightly, that's when you get humbled. It happens every year. A team looks unbeatable one week and then gets smacked the next because they got complacent. The great teams don't do that. They treat every game like it's a playoff. They respect every opponent. That's how dynasties are built, by staying locked in, week after week, no matter who's on the schedule. That's what makes this upcoming matchup against the Dolphins so huge. It's not just another game, it's a chance for the Ravens to show that the mindset has changed, that the locker room is united, focused, and ready to fight for every inch. You can feel that something's shifting in Baltimore. The players are tired of the noise, tired of the outside talk, and ready to let their play do the talking. And honestly, it all starts with Lamar. The way he's handling things right now, you can see the maturity, the drive, the hunger to lead. Whether he's on the field or behind the scenes making decisions like taking out those ping pong tables, he's showing that he's not just the franchise quarterback. He's the standard. When your leader demands focus, everyone else follows. This is the version of Lamar Jackson the Ravens need, and it feels like we're seeing him step into that role fully now. Because at the end of the day, talent wins games, but leadership wins seasons. And for the first time in a while, it feels like the Ravens have both firing in sync again. You could tell from the way Lamar spoke at the podium that something inside him had shifted. This wasn't the same soft-spoken guy from his rookie days who would let his play do all the talking. This was a leader in full control of his voice and his presence. He stood there, relaxed but firm, answering questions with honesty and focus. When asked about the possibility of the team going on a run, he didn't feed into the hype. He said it straight. He's not worried about streaks, not thinking ahead. He's thinking about Miami, about the next opponent, about doing the job that's right in front of him. That's what winners say. That's what veterans say. And that's the kind of energy that filters through the entire locker room. He spoke about the need to execute on every single drive, to stay ahead of the chains, to put points on the board and not leave anything to chance. He didn't make it sound like a cliche, either. It was conviction. You could feel that he meant it, because that's how he's been playing and how he expects everyone else to play. And when your quarterback sets that tone, it changes everything. It gives the defense confidence, it gives the offense rhythm, and it gives the whole building belief that they can compete with anyone. And that belief is crucial because the Ravens are in one of those stretches where every game feels like the postseason. There's no room for mistakes, no time to coast. Kyle Hamilton even said it himself. They're backed into a corner, and every week is a fight to climb out. That's exactly the type of mentality that head coach John Harbaugh preaches. Treat every single matchup like it's win or go home. And it's clear that message is getting through. The players are responding. You can sense that unity. Lamar's body language says just as much as his words. When he's smiling, loose, having fun, the team feeds off that energy. But when he's serious, dialed in, you can see the shift in everyone else's focus. It's contagious. And it's not that he's being strict or joyless. It's that he's demanding the kind of attention to detail that separates playoff teams from pretenders. That's the growth part people sometimes overlook. You can have all the highlight plays in the world, but leadership is what keeps a team consistent. He's been through enough ups and downs in this league to understand how quickly things can turn. One injury, one bad turnover, one missed opportunity, it can flip a season on its head. So when he says he's not looking ahead, it's because he's lived what happens when you do. The Ravens have had seasons where they looked ready to dominate and then stumbled because they started counting wins before earning them. This year feels different. This time it feels like they've learned from those moments. That's what Lamar's message was really about, discipline. Not just physical discipline on the field, but mental discipline off it. Removing distractions, cutting out noise, focusing on what truly matters. Whether it's ping pong tables, social media, or outside criticism, none of that wins games. Preparation does. Execution does. And when your best player is the one preaching that, it resonates on another level. You can see how the veterans respond to him now. Players like Ronnie Stanley, Marlon Humphrey, and Roquan Smith, guys who've been in big games and know the grind. They look at Lamar and see a peer who's carrying the same weight. They know he's not just saying things for show. When he speaks, it's backed up by how he works during the week, how he studies, how he takes hits, and still gets up fighting. That's what earns respect in an NFL locker room. And for the younger guys, this version of Lamar is exactly what they need to see. Because every team needs that one figure who embodies the culture. When you walk into a building and feel that competitive edge, that seriousness, that confidence, you know it starts with someone. For the Ravens, it's him. When he's locked in, the entire team mirrors that focus. What makes this even more powerful is that Lamar isn't doing this with a lot of noise or drama. He's not calling people out. He's not making speeches for the cameras. He's quietly setting the standard and letting everyone know that the time for excuses is over. That's the kind of leadership that builds accountability. Players start checking themselves before anyone else has to. You don't need a coach yelling at you when your quarterback's presence alone makes you want to step it up. Before we dive in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Your support keeps us bringing you the latest news on the Baltimore Ravens. And hey, drop your take in the comments below. We want to hear from the flock. In what could be one of the most talked about moves of the NFL offseason, whispers are growing louder that Stefon Diggs has officially agreed to terms with the Baltimore Ravens, a shocking twist that seems destined to ignite one of the league's fiercest rivalries. Sources close to the situation, though preferring to remain anonymous, suggest that the deal has been quietly finalized, sending shockwaves through the fanbase of the Buffalo Bills, Diggs' former team and longtime employer. For months, speculation swirled around Diggs' future, with trade rumors and free agent possibilities dominating headlines and social media debates. The potential for him to join a conference rival seemed almost unthinkable until now. Insiders claim that the Ravens, long aggressive in their pursuit of elite offensive talent, made an offer that combined both financial incentives and the promise of a starring role in Lamar Jackson's dynamic offense. The move, if confirmed, would not only bolster Baltimore's receiving core, but also add fuel to a rivalry that has grown increasingly intense over the past several seasons. Among fans and analysts alike, reactions have been a mix of disbelief and excitement. Bills supporters, in particular, are reportedly bracing for a wave of frustration, feeling the sting of losing a player who was once central to Buffalo's offensive identity. Meanwhile, the Ravens faithful are buzzing with anticipation, imagining how Diggs' speed, route running, and big play ability could reshape their passing game. Early social media chatter hints at playful taunts and memes targeting Buffalo, suggesting this story will only grow louder as preseason approaches. While neither team has issued an official statement, insiders say negotiations were conducted with remarkable discretion, leaving the league to speculate on details such as contract length and potential performance incentives. The timing, some suggest, could be intentional, strategically designed to send a message to the Bills and set the stage for an electric season-opening showdown. If this all comes to fruition, one thing is clear: the NFL landscape is shifting. The Baltimore Ravens may have just pulled off a coup that not only strengthens their roster, but also intensifies one of football's most passionate rivalries. As whispers turn to chatter and chatter threatens to become uproar, fans across the league are left asking the same question. What does this mean for the Bills and for the next chapter of the Diggs saga? That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay in the loop with exclusive news on our Baltimore Ravens, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. We'd love to hear what the flock thinks. Drop your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next one.